Well, yesterday here in Colorado, we got a few inches of snow. And what happens when you drive in the snow? Your car gets filthy. In this winter washing video, the thing we're going to start with is the floor mats. Now, all-weather floor mats are kind of a must when you live in a place like this. Since I didn't have anyone in the back of the car, right now my back floor mats are good, but the fronts are looking nasty. What I do have here is a 3.5 gallon wash bucket filled all the way up with warm water. And I've got it with a Gamma Seal lid so that it wouldn't spill on the way here. I've got a host of different sprays. I've got my towels, my wash pad, my brushes, brought a turbo stick. I brought all kinds of stuff so that I can get this vehicle done as perfect as I can in the middle of winter and be efficient with my time. So one of the first things I want to do is I'm going to take our tire and rubber cleaner. Boom, boom, boom. Cleaning your floor mats makes driving your car a nicer experience. So this is actually the tire brush, but it's very effective at getting all the crud off your floor mats. Now, whether you've got the really nice heavy-duty OEM floor mats like these or some of the less expensive stuff that you can get online, you know the ones I'm talking about, either one clean up well with this process. The reason I want to start with the mats, I want to give them the most possible time to dry. On a day like today, it's probably 40 degrees out here. They're going to dry slow. So start with the mats, this way they get the most time to not wet your carpets later. All right, we got our mats scrubbed down. Now I want to get the bucket, the wheel cleaner, the car shampoo. I want to get all that stuff out here so that I can start using it. I'm also going to go ahead and pull out all of the wheel cleaning tools. In other words, the wheel woolly, the wheel brush, the fender brush, and I'm going to go ahead and use the turbo stick because these wheels are filthy, and my truck brush. This is a critical tool to use on your winter beater. Now, there's always a brush at the car wash, and sometimes that brush is a little bit beat up. Now, our brush is super soft. It's the same bristles that we use to make our wheel brushes, which are really, really, really fine nylon. Now, this particular technology scratches no more or less than a typical wash pad. But on my winter beater, on the winter car that's really getting beat on, this little guy right here is a really good tool to have. It keeps my fingers warm when I'm washing and helps me to get all the way across the roof while I'm washing. So now that I've got everything out of the truck and I'm ready to start, it's now, after doing all of these things, that I go ahead and hit the card into the swiper. Verifying. So we're going to start with a high pressure rinse, okay? The high pressure rinse is what I'm going to need to get all of this really nasty crud off the Yukon. Rinsing down the floor mats. And then I'm going to go right into blasting off the car. Now, of course, look at the back of this thing. It's terrible. Here's one of the potential dangers in a car wash. The hose. Keep that hose behind you so it's not blasting on the car, and you won't have scratches. Now, if you've watched our videos before, you know I really like to make sure and start with the wheels. I want to make sure that no water spotting happens. However, in this case, what I really have is got a nice shady cold day. The chances of water drying on the car and causing water spots, pretty slim. So before winter started, I went ahead and did a full detail on the Yukon. I wanted to make sure that it was ready for winter. So what did I do? I washed it real thoroughly, I clayed it, I polished it, and I hit it with a ceramic coating. I did the entire thing. Now whether you did a ceramic coating or a paint sealant, or the only two options really for a winter vehicle, if you go ahead and go through the entire process before winter hits, you'll notice the dirt fly off like the dirt's flying off this thing. If you don't do the prep work, you're going to notice that it's a lot more work to scrub your car clean. Scrubbing is scratching. The slicker look, watch this. Without even pulling the trigger, watch how the dirt falls off the door. I'll really just letting the very low pressure, you can see how it just pulls all the dirt off. That's because the finish has been protected. Look at the glass. The glass has been sealed. That makes it easier to clean. That makes your winter washing process a lot easier. You know, getting the wheels and tires really thoroughly, that's super important. There's a lot of crud and all the chemicals are there. Spend extra time on your wheel wells and your wheels. So your door jambs are going to get a lot of destruction. So it's important not to obviously hose down the inside of your car. However, if you get the crud out of your door jambs at least a couple times every winter, you'll have a lot less sediment, a lot less potential corrosion, and you'll keep your door jambs nice and clean. And when we were back at the shop, we took our bucket, we filled it up with warm water, actually hot water. It's going to make it real nice for me to get my hands in there. So a little bit of suds. And then we're going to turn off the water. Wheels and tires first. Now, it's getting cold out here. It's about 40 degrees. At this point, if I'm going to get uncomfortable, instead I'm going to grab some gloves. I'm going to get through it so that I don't get uncomfortable. Doing the wheels. First kick, wheel cleaner. I have it on the stream setting. I'm getting into the back of the wheels. Boom, boom, boom. And then the tire and rubber cleaner. Now, on this car, we have the carpeted wheel wells. If on your car you have plastic wheel wells or wheel well liners, spray it out with the tire and rubber cleaner or the all-purpose cleaner. And then take your fender brush and you knock them out. Get all the crud out of your wheel wells. Then, using the wheel woolly, I'm going to do the barrel of the wheels, and I'm going to be quick. Remember, this is not the detailing I'm going to do for my show cars, my favorite cars. This is a quick and dirty detail. I just want to get the basics knocked down. I want to get the chemicals and the crud and the salt off so that these wheels, come springtime, aren't going to be fully destroyed. All right, last but not least, certainly, I'm going to do the face of the wheels with our wheel brush. And then using the tire brush, I want to get all of the nastiness off the tires. All right. Are you thinking to yourself, this is completely crazy? That guy's doing that much stuff to his car in the middle of winter? Yep. But you're crazy too for watching this, right? You've been sitting here watching this for a few minutes now. You don't do this every single time you clean your car. This is not an every single winter wash process. This is a when it gets really nasty and you want it back to nice again. Like a day like today. Snowed like crazy yesterday, sun's out today, I want my stuff to look nice again. That's when I do this. I might do a wash this thorough once a month throughout the winter. It's right about now that I'm really glad that I filled this bucket with warm water because I'd be freezing otherwise. Oh, feels so good. There's two different tools that I've got here. I've got a wash mitt and I've got a truck brush. This vehicle has been ceramic coated, it's been polished, it's been sealed, it is completely bulletproof. Am I going to scratch it at all using a brush like this? A tiny bit, maybe very little. Any more than this wash pad? Barely. So when you're washing using either tool, you're going to be fine, and you're going to really find that the process is going to net you an extremely clean car with minimal injury. The thing that's cool about the bristles get in the nooks and crannies really well. However, I'm not able to get everything because of the shape of the brush, so I'm only going to get the major surfaces, and then I'm going to come back with my nice warm wash pad, and then I get up into the nooks and crannies. And this is the same process if I've got any really delicate parts of the car. Same thing I'm going to do. You ever pull up behind a guy at a stoplight and look at how filthy like the brushes from the brush wash didn't get? Don't be that guy. Always get in the nooks and crannies. Make sure that your stuff's all clean, thoroughly cleaned and nice. Boom. And just to maximize the suds, take a little bit of car shampoo, okay, and keep it on the bristles. You always want the soap on the thing that's touching your car. As I'm washing, I'm always taking note of areas that I really wasn't able to get super well with the brush. This way I can come back over it with the wash pad. So I didn't reach the brush under the door handles. I didn't get along this very well. I didn't get the brush up underneath the mirrors. I'll make sure and get those really well. I didn't get the antenna very well. I didn't get the racks, the edges very well. And then of course, the door jambs. All right. We're all done washing. Now it's time. Go ahead and empty out our buckets. Pulling my grit guard. Chemicals in. And then brushes. All that jazz, put that in, and also dump that nasty black water. So, 2 clean buckets, and then I'm going to go ahead and quickly rinse out my brush before I put it away. All my stuff's good to go now. Now it's time to go ahead and rinse her down. Off, and we're done with the water. All right, so now I got the mats cleaned, my gear's ready to go back in. However, there's one more thing I want to do before I pull the car out of the bay, and that is get some of the bumps off the finish. Now, a quick hit with some detail spray and a clay mitt will do the trick fast. The back of the car is almost always the worst. It's the bumpiest, it's the nastiest. More crud sticks to the back than anywhere else on the vehicle. So the back is something that I like to clay after as many winter washes as possible, because that contamination won't become a problem. Wow, even the glass. You can hear that. You can hear it go shh, and then it's smooth. That's awesome. So real quick up here, a few more places that I want to knock out. Down low behind the wheels, little detail spray, little clay mitt. The front, I've got some stuff on there too, and just a little bit up here. Okay, so by removing the contamination throughout the winter, those little tiny metallic specks that embed into the clear coat, and then they become a little tiny piece of rust by the time the winter's over. We've all seen it, especially on white cars. You can see it really easily. If you remove the contamination, especially the metallic particles, the likelihood of corrosion goes way down. So I like a quick clay bar, even though my fingers are freezing now. I'll be able to keep this thing looking good, and I'll really be able to keep this thing from deteriorating all winter long. Now it's time to go ahead and put my stuff away. Boom. At this point we're done. One of the most important things when you're using a paint spray is to be considerate of others. It's kind of important to do wherever you are. In other words, keep right except to pass. Don't hog the wash bay when you're doing ridiculous things. So at this point we're going to go ahead and pull this sucker out of the wash bay. We're going to go find a little tiny piece of shade if we can on the other side. If we can't, we're going to go quickly in the sun. So instead of drying, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 of our H2O garden gloss towels. One needs to be wet, one doesn't. If you're smart enough to remember to get your towel wet before, great. If not, you can do what I'm doing, which is take a little drinking water and get it damp. So this step here, the H2O garden gloss, is a water activated sealant, and this is going to be instead of drying, okay? I'm going to go ahead and spray down a few panels, and you'll notice the water goes running as soon as you do spray it down. I'm going to spray about a fender and half the hood at a time, or maybe a couple of doors. Okay, bottle goes in my pocket. Damp towel, I'm rubbing it in like I'm basically polishing the car. And I'm rubbing it in nice. At the same time, I'm going to make sure to hit all the plastic, because the black plastic looks great if you use the H2O garden gloss on it. Now, after hitting one full area with the wet towel, I want to come back now with the dry towel, and you will see a ridiculous amount of shine accomplished very easily. So this process is how you keep your finish looking great, keep it from oxidizing all year round, okay? If you do this a couple times a winter, you're not gonna have the typical deterioration that happens after all the chemicals and the crud are on your finish. So make sure to hit the plastic. All right. We are freezing my fingers. So to make sure that I don't die, this is definitely something that I can do with gloves on. And as your weather permits, you're going to use gloves throughout this process. Again, don't use your favorite gloves. Don't use leather gloves if you can. Use gloves that you know can get nasty and dirty and filled with all the different dirt and crud that's going to come off your car. Undoubtedly, when you're washing your car at the Paint and Spray, you miss some stuff. So we're definitely going to want to touch the wheels again. But before we do, let's go ahead and knock down the tires with a little bit of tire shine. I like to give a firm pump on the sprayer, couple pumps into the Pro tire applicator, and this way, if I do this before I clean the wheels, I can get really close to the wheels, touch the wheels, and just knowing that I'm going to come back and clean them again anyway. So that's the order to do things. Tires first, then wheels. All right, one tire down. Then, using the same exact process that I was using in the paint, I just take a little bit of H2O garden gloss, I give it a wipe down with the wet towel, and I'm also then cleaning whatever I missed earlier earlier when I was in the wash bay trying to clean this sucker fast while people might have been waiting on me. But this process is going to let me get them really looking good. I can even get the barrels of the wheels, if I have the room like with these wheels, while I'm doing this. And then taking my dry towel, come back over, quick wipe down, and that looks great. On most of the vehicle, we went ahead and used the H2O garden gloss on the glass, and it's awesome, but the windshield needs something more serious. Enter Glass Boost. The Glass Boost is amazing. I like to use this to keep my windshield super slick and easy to clean all winter long. I like to reapply the Glass Boost at least once a month. If I can, it'll make the snow and the ice not stick to it. And oh my gosh, it looks so good. It also makes it really, really easy to clean. You know, when you're passing that big rig, you're in a snowstorm and it's muddy, and there's all this crud coming off the truck onto your windshield and you're blinded. This process keeps visibility completely intact.